Everything you need to begin is already within you or within reach. The people you're meant to meet, the edge you're meant to manifest, the path you're meant to walk, it's all being orchestrated, but not without your participation. Faith is not passive, it is act. It is movement, risk decision, and endurance. And here's the beautiful truth. When you take that first step, no matter how small, the universe moves with you. Doors you didn't see before begin to appear. Support you never expected finds its way to you. Courage grows stronger. Direction becomes clearer. You discover that God was not distant. He was right there waiting for you to act. So do not wait another day. The answer has already come. Now it's your turn to move. Desire is not random. It is not a fleeting wish or a shallow want. True desire, the kind that burns deep within your heart, that keeps you awake at night, that calls to you when the world is quiet, is something far more sacred. It is a divine signal, a spiritual compass pointing you toward your unique purpose. You did not create that desire. You received it. You received it. It was planted in you by a higher intelligence, a spark of divine intention meant to guide you toward the life you were designed to live. The Creator communicates through desire. When you feel called to build, to serve, to create, to lead, to express, that is not your imagination. That is direction. That is purpose revealing itself. Too often we dismiss our desires. We call them impractical, impossible, or indulgent. We compare them to others' expectations or to the limits of our past. But those desires are not foolish. They are faithful. They are the beginning of your unfolding. They are the signals that tell you, here is where your energy belongs. Here is where you will find your meaning. Desire is the engine of all greatness. Every invention, every work of art, every movement that changed the world began with a single person who followed a persistent desire. They felt something stir within them and chose not to ignore it. They listened. They trusted. They moved. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Desire is the starting point of all achievement." That's not just motivational rhetoric. It's a universal truth. Without desire, there is no direction. Without desire, there is no reason to act. But when you follow the right desire, the one that won't leave you alone, the one that feels both exciting and frightening, that is when you step into your calling. This does not mean the path will be easy. Often desire leads you out of your comfort zone. Hey, it demands growth, risk, and sacrifice. But that is how purpose reveals its power. You become more because you pursue more. You align with the divine because you trust what the divine has placed in your heart. So the next time a desire rises up and you don't push it aside. Don't ask if it's realistic. Realistic? Ask instead, what if this is the voice of God speaking through me? What if this desire is the next chapter of my destiny waiting to be written? Listen carefully. Trust boldly, because your deepest desire is not a distraction. It is the map. Follow it, and you will find your purpose. Faith is the unseen force that connects what you imagine to what you experience. It is the bridge between the thoughts in your mind and the results in your life. Without faith, thoughts remain only ideas, intangible, unmanifested, and unrealized. But with faith, those same thoughts gain substance, and they begin to take form. They begin to attract the people, resources, and opportunities needed to bring them into reality. Every great achievement begins as a thought, an invisible idea that lives only in the mind. But thought alone is not enough. You must believe in that thought. You must trust in its possibility even when there is no physical evidence. That is what faith does. Faith allows you to see the invisible and act as if it is already real. Napoleon Hill taught that faith is the only known antidote for failure. Why? It gives power to persistence. It energizes action. It sustains you when logic says stop and fear says quit. Faith speaks a different language. It says to keep going. What you seek is already yours. You just haven't arrived yet. The world will often demand proof before belief. But success requires the opposite, belief before proof. You must believe in the outcome while it still looks impossible. You must hold fast to your vision when others can't see what you see. That is the true test of faith. Not believing when it's easy, but believing when it's hard. Faith transforms obstacles into stepping stones. When you face setbacks, faith whispers that they are temporary. When doors close, faith tells you another will open. When the way is unclear, faith reminds you that your steps are still guided. It does not eliminate the journey. It empowers you to walk it. But faith is not passive. It is not sitting and waiting for miracles. Faith is action inspired by trust. It is movement grounded in belief. When you act with faith, you give your vision life. You give your dream momentum. You begin to build the bridge that carries your thought across the gap into reality. And here is the miracle. As you walk in faith, the path begins to reveal itself. What seemed impossible begins to unfold. What was once only imagined becomes your new reality. You realize that the bridge wasn't just carrying you forward, it was transforming you along the way. So believe in your vision, trust in your purpose. Move with confidence even when the way is uncertain. Faith is the bridge, and if you walk it, your thoughts will become your life. You are the gatekeeper of your destiny. No one else holds the key. Not your past, not your circumstances, not the opinions of others. You alone decide how far you will go, how high you will rise, and how fully you will live. That power, the power to choose, to act, to believe, is yours, and it always has been. Too often we look outside ourselves for answers. We wait for someone to validate our dreams or to give us permission to begin. We blame our failures on what we lacked: resources, support, knowledge. But the truth is, every person who has ever achieved greatness faced the same uncertainties. The difference is they chose to step forward anyway. They realized that they, and only they, were the gatekeepers of their future. The gate to your destiny is not locked. It never was. It is not held shut by fate or denied by divine will. The only thing that determines whether you walk through that gate is your decision to do so. It stands ready, waiting for the moment you say, I will. That moment, when you take ownership of your life, is the moment everything changes. Being the gatekeeper means taking full responsibility, not just for your success, but for your effort, your mindset, and your growth. You can choose resilience over defeat, purpose over distraction, and courage over fear. This is not a burden. It is a gift because it means you don't have to wait for anyone to save you. You don't need perfect conditions or outside permission. You only need to claim the authority that was always yours. You were born with potential. You were born with choice. And every choice you make either opens the gate wider or keeps it closed. Napoleon Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. But that purpose means nothing if you do not guard it, protect it, and walk toward it with determination. You must be vigilant over your thoughts, your habits, and the people you allow to influence you, because everything you allow past the gate shapes your future. So stand tall, take the key. Own your role as the gatekeeper. No one can walk through the gate of your destiny for you, and no one can close it but you. The choice is always yours. The power is already